The Coinbase IPO is coming. I think it's a very interesting situation, and we will most likely get involved probably through call options. This is the Not Even Wrong podcast. It's March 9, 2021. This is Krim Delco. For the day, the fund is up 13.1%. The market is up roughly 1.5%. For the year, we are down 7.5%. The market is up roughly 4%. We're underperforming by roughly 11%. The market is still open, so these things could change. I want to talk about the Coinbase IPO, which is happening these days. It's a direct listing. I don't know the exact mechanics. It's still not tradable on NASDAQ, but I assume in the next few days it will be tradable. Valuation roughly 100 billion. I think it's a very interesting situation. Here are the three reasons why this is very interesting. Number one, this is the first direct exposure you can get to the cryptocurrency economy. So not just buying cryptocurrencies, but getting exposure to the economy, which means that you have more than just speculation in the asset. So think of, let's say, the equivalent would be you have gold, which would be Bitcoin, and Coinbase is everything from a gold miner to a gold exchange to a gold custodian transaction provider. So you have that part of the crypto economy covered through Coinbase. Number two, and this is a, I would say, rather negative thing, which is unfortunately Coinbase really is just something along the lines of an exchange. So it's not, let's say, if you want to get exposure to what I think is the most promising part of crypto, which is the smart contract and that space where the smart contracts can become instrumental, for example, in solving problems like the free rider problem or the tragedy of the commons problem, things that I've discussed in the past. So, for example, one of the most exciting things I think with the Ethereum blockchain is that you could actually start creating contracts that allow people to start building their own infrastructure in their own communities, and you could solve the free rider problem by creating smart contracts, literally smart contracts that are intelligent through scripts. For example, we have 100 houses. Each house chips in $10,000 to build an infrastructure. Well, you could create a contract which says if everybody pays in, if everybody's check clears, then the contractor gets the money. If only one person bails out, then the whole thing doesn't happen. So you have a smart contract which could, at least theoretically, take care of one of the biggest problems in coordination, which is this free rider problem in economics. It's been discussed for hundreds of years. I think really interesting. I think some of the most important advances in capitalism, in free markets, and those sort of things have been along the lines of solving problems on the free rider and tragedy of the commons front. For example, property rights, institutional economics is very strong in that. And I've grown up with institutional economics under Professor Frey in Zurich, so I've been definitely very influenced by this, but I think besides that, it is extremely important. So I would say that is rather a negative thing about Coinbase, but nevertheless, you could imagine Coinbase morphing into something else. So I see Coinbase like eBay. So the eBay of the internet, the eBay of the cryptocurrency world. So like the same way eBay was the first big internet stock that went public and enabled a native internet type situation where you couldn't do this without the internet. eBay was the first company that went public that sold a service that was impossible prior to the internet. There were other, for example, companies that did, let's say, Toys R Us and these things that went bankrupt. They were just selling things online and they couldn't do it. And, obviously Amazon was the one that survived. But what eBay did was auctioning things on the internet that was not possible prior to the internet. So Coinbase is, in that sense, very similar to eBay. And I see the analogy here. And eBay was a very successful company. It maybe wasn't the Amazon or the Google, so it didn't solve really native, phenomenal internet problems, but it started solving some of the first problems, which in my view are interesting problems nevertheless. I think the third thing with Coinbase is that it is the first asset going public it is profitable, so you have a bit of a base, and I think it's just gonna become a big deal. You can't look at this any other way. This is gonna become the buzz of this year. 2021 will be the year of crypto. It will be the year of smart contracts. It will be the year when people embrace blockchain as an ubiquitous technology, the Internet 2.0. All these narratives, while we're hearing them from specialists, we're not really, I don't think it's internalized in the market. And I don't know what that really means. I mean, does that mean Jim Cramer talks about it? Maybe, but that's not the point. My point here, it's much more important. It is that we have here the beginning of a phase, I think a massive phase. This will be a huge speculative bubble. We're not even close to the beginning here. I predict that we will see Bitcoin go, six figures very fast and then just accelerate from there. I predict that we will see companies going public left and right. I think Bitcoin will be the workhorse of this economy, at least until, if you use the analogy of the internet, we have companies like, the equivalent of Google and the equivalent of other companies, Amazon and Apple and whatnot, coming out of the woodwork and creating even more exciting products and services. Now, just one caveat here, you could also say, well, is Coinbase going to be the Yahoo of the internet? I don't think so. I think Coinbase is a founder of this crypto space. It is, I just feel like it's a lot more entrenched in the crypto space. Yahoo was an inferior technology, and until, of course, we could see somebody like Google come up, and maybe the Google of the crypto could be like MetaDesk, like a company that solely is based on the Ethereum blockchain, that has, let's say, the ability to create NFTs, that has the ability to use smart contracts in other ways to take advantage of the power of smart contracts. So there are all these possibilities. I don't want to speculate too far out. This is I think really early days, and that's the exciting thing. This is early days. This is eBay going public at, I don't know, 5 billion valuation. eBay now is, I think, probably a $50 billion company. So yeah, 10x in 20 years. It's not Amazon, it's not Apple, but it's a fantastic return. I think we will see a huge speculative bubble around this technology, because things can be done, because real problems can be solved. We will see breakthroughs. The ecosystem is very, very prolific already. The VC community is prolific. I think Coinbase is just one of those assets that you can find a million reasons not to buy it. Oh, it's speculative. It's just buying Bitcoin. Yes, that's all true. But that's exactly the reason why it's going to be such a phenomenal asset. And the reason it's phenomenal is because there's underlying value here. And most importantly, look, you can argue about Bitcoin as much as you want. It is getting traction with hedge funds. Henry just recently said he's into it. Soros, apparently. All the big global hedge funds are jumping on it. Of course, they are followers here, the big guys, the guys that really matter. Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, they've already jumped on the bandwagon. This is just happening. And while it might crash sometime, and maybe, okay, here's the risk. Forget that whole, like, it might crash. I mean, this is really, I shouldn't even be talking like that. Here's the real risk here. The real risk is interest rates. Interest rates, leverage in the system, that is the problem. And I think that's the risk, so that you have extreme leverage in the system. And Coinbase is a financial company, a financial services company, and Coinbase is offering leverage. And the leverage will only exacerbate. And this is the risk. And I don't know how to discern the leverage. I don't know how to understand what the risks exactly are. But one thing I know, for sure, and that's always the same, which is it's going to be driven by interest rates. So interest rates rising, that is a risk. Now, we had recently a rise in treasuries, and the actual assets have done well, meaning Bitcoin and Ethereum. But there is a risk, of course, that maybe if rates go even higher, that we have a problem. But no matter what, you will have hedge funds, you will have charlatans, you will have people levering 10, 20x like long-term capital style, and you will have this to squared and to the cube, because it's much easier, it's much less transparent, it's much smarter in a sense. You can actually also take advantage of these things, and on the one hand, it will create a huge boom. On the other hand, it will create a risk. Nevertheless, I think we're looking at at least $500 billion valuation Coinbase in the next maybe 2 to 3 years. We're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin. We're looking at five figures for Ethereum. It's now $1,800, so we could easily see $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for the Ethereum contract, just because it is an asset which is in demand, and it's really, really very early days. So to summarize, the Coinbase IPO, which is coming these days, it is on our radar. We have declared the blockchain technology as a part of our fundamentally new concepts and engineering practices theme. It's part of our mission. It fits our mission. It does solve some fantastic problems. So this is not just speculative for us. This is actually real in terms of also that it's really doing something really good. And we believe that it will generate a lot of wealth. Thank you.